As the Philippines chairs ASEAN this year, it faces a double challenge, turning this hosting role into a magnet for investment and jobs, and confronting serious questions about corruption, governance, and the country's credibility as a trusted partner in Southeast Asia. With us are two thought leaders and key figures from the Philippines ASEAN Business Advisory Council, or ABAC. In the first part of our interview, ABAC member George Barcelon, also Chairman Emeritus of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's good to see you, George. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Cathy. Thank you for inviting me.
And how are things coming along then for the Philippines ASEAN Business Advisory Council as the Philippines hosts
Yes,
ASEAN?
our hosting for this year, ASEAN 2026, is exciting. But again, it's not exactly new to us because we hosted last time the 50th anniversary of ASEAN. That was 2017. Okay? So, but again, any events of this size, of this magnitude, requires careful planning. So the planning has started towards the end of the year, and it's an ongoing process. So we have scheduled key events in some of the months, no, like March, May, September, and November. That would be the culmination of the ASEAN affair, ending with the ASEAN Business Investment Summit.
Well, the context has changed. 10
Yes.
years have passed, and we're looking at different challenges. And
That's
a big
right.
part of that is corruption and governance issues.
It's true, yes.
How are we hoping to make people understand from the ASEAN that we're doing something about it?
The issue on, of course, it's very much highlighted. It's still in people's mind. Okay? But if you, the theme of this ASEAN for the country is navigating the future together, okay? And inclusive growth for all. Now, having stated that, it's imperative for us from the government side to show their sincerity in rebuilding the trust of the business sector. It has been tarnished with what had happened, but I can see that hindsight, looking back, this thing was exposed by the president himself. So it's we are cognizant of the fact that he knows the gravity of what had happened, okay? And also he instilled, or he set up the proper investigation committees to work on this. But of course, the law, they have to follow certain laws provided in dealing with such matters. So we leave it to the wisdom of the government that they will be able to present to the public, okay, that something is being done. And that would very much regain that confidence that was shaken. Okay? Now, going back to the ASEAN, we have this opportunity to host this 59th Business ASEAN Affair. And we, on our side, the three of us, Chairman Joey Concepcion, myself, and Mr. Michael Tan, we are all, and plus the various government agencies, we are all in one mindset that this is our chance to put our best foot forward. When you have visitors coming from not only the ASEAN countries, but also some of the countries in the G7. And we still are optimistic because there's a lot of upside in our country. Primarily, we have a well-educated population, which is more around the vicinity of 120 million. We're not a small country. In our demographic, advantage is we have a young population. And we're seeing now that this particular ASEAN meeting, the Europeans, the East Asian countries are very focused on this. They have been requesting for participation, some of breakout sessions that would concern the region.
Well, for sure, governance is going to be atop their list.
Yes.
What's the agreed narrative, if you will, from the business sector on how you will be presenting the Philippines with the help of government and bringing them in and forward, and that we just don't end up with the usual communiques. That this ASEAN chairship will mean jobs in the end, not only
Yes,
in the
yes,
ASEAN but here in the Philippines.
yes. Well, the message of course, since this is an ASEAN event, we take ASEAN as a whole. No? We're almost 700 million in population. So this is very much noticed by countries, Europe or uh, in the Western world, no? That the potential is there, because most of the other countries, even the East Asia countries, they're aging population. Europe, you're talking about they're averaging like almost mid 40s. We don't have to mention about Japan; it's really aging, and same thing with Korea. And to be honest, even countries like Thailand, their average age is closing to 40. Uh, and among the ASEAN countries, there are two, Indonesia and Philippines. We're on the average of mid 20s, no? And a big population. So we take that for countries looking for business investment, Philippines would be in the radar. Okay? But we have to be realistic that we have to do our homework. Uh, Good governance is one, the ease of doing business, and the infrastructure. Because all of when we talk about industry, one of the primary issue is you must have power, availability of power, and affordability of power. Okay, before they would even consider putting up their factories here. And well, the government is in line with that. We have a lot of, if you look at the investment, the BOI, the foreign direct investment, many of these projects are power related, renewable power, okay, solar, wind, and the likes. Okay? But again, it's not just one particular issue like power, but it's the whole scope of key issues like, as I said, mobility, logistic, and the effectiveness of the government in promoting our country and making it happen. As I said, a lot of foreign businesses, when they look at the Philippines, they feel more comfortable if they are in PESA. Now, the reason why is because in PESA, the laws are clear. There's no ambivalence in the interpretation. While if you're outside of PESA, many of the local governments, for whatever reason, they are not so, what do you call, clear in the implementations of laws, of local ordinances, and that affects the ease of doing business. And this is what we've been, even in our chamber, we've been telling the various local government that you should act more like a PESA.
But all these challenges we've had even before the flood control scandal, and I know that you and I have talked
Yes,
many times on Money Talks, and you did say and warned that the impact of corruption on investor confidence
yes,
is critical, and have called for concrete reforms, especially as we prepare for the ASEAN chairship. So,
yes.
how much of our credibility's been lost because of what's happened, and how are you intending to help government come out of that as we chair the ASEAN this year?
Well, I mean, what I know is most people who follow up the news are aware of. So that's the past, okay. But it has to be dealt with, okay. And recently there was a meeting with the new Secretary of Finance, Secretary Frederick Go. I think that was hosted by BSP, Government Eli. And the full focus of the meeting was about important reforms,
The big, bold
the big
reforms, so they
reforms.
called it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they touched on some of the key government agencies uh, that uh, that I'm sure they heard it from the local businessman. They heard it from foreign investors. The two key government agencies are the BIR and the Bureau of Customs. Okay? And this was taken up, and I can see that from the government side, especially these two agencies, are under the office of the Department of Finance. So I hope that they can make it easy uh, for in dealing with some of the issues. It's not just it's not about new issues, but even pending issues that are still there. Okay, that are still sort of a pain in the neck for a lot of businesses. I hope that those will be dealt with, because when the foreign investors would like to come in, the first thing they do is they ask their compatriot who are here, how is the condition of doing business here? And if they say anything negative about their dealings here, it might affect their decision whether to come in or not. So it's important also to realize that whatever pending issues that you're hearing from the private sector side, the government must deal with it, okay, and institutionalize so that it's not a case-to-case basis. So if the law is clear and straightforward, and that should be followed.
And you've had those conversations with foreign investors in Kuala Lumpur when
Yes.
the handover happened
Yes.
last year, late last
Yes,
year.
that's right.
What kinds of questions were they asking? Because that was at the height of the flood control scandal, and people were taking to the streets to protest what had happened.
Um, well, whenever the topic uh, regarding the corruption is mentioned, we don't hide it. Okay? We admitted that yes, there is this uh, in a way corruption that nobody expected to such gravity, and we were all caught by surprise. And as I said earlier, in a way, we have to commend the president of bringing this out during his SONA. Okay? But this was July of last year, and in the 5 months that has passed, it is always a key topic for businesses, for businessmen, for business people who are thinking of coming in. But I'm glad that uh, that there hasn't been too much of serious commotions, because I was sharing my the fact that when this happened, the big rally in September, I was there in Malaysia, so they were wondering what's happening to our country. I said no. I said don't be too caught up with what you're seeing, because this is an expression of the masses, the people, uh, that this issue has to be dealt with. Okay, and I said all of the country have this. Indonesia have had their issue with their minister. Nepal has their issue also, and when I said that, they sort of can relate that things can happen. I mean, that is, it looks beyond control of the government. But I tell them, rest assured, we are in good hands. Okay? And this will not, what do you call, gone beyond lawlessness. Okay? The law is still, the government is still has good hand on it. But aside from that, the interest after that, we have, like when I was in KL, the Chamber of Peru, we had side meetings. We had side meetings with Canadian business. We had side meetings with UK. So it's still, the interest is still there. As I said, it's the prevailing condition of the country. We have a lot going for us, but still a lot has to be done.
The interest is there, and I see it from Bezos' point of view. I've spoken with Teresa Panga. He did say it was a record number of investment approvals,
Yes.
but those have yet to be realized as actual jobs. There seems to be a
Yes.
huge disconnect right now, a huge waiting game.
Yeah. The on the job side, last year there was this pronouncement, this law of trabajo para sa bayan. Okay, and we're all for it, especially for us that we have visibility, regional, because of our chambers, and I'm glad that the government saw one of the what they call low-hanging fruits, which is tourism. Eh, Now we have allowed Chinese visitors to visit the Philippines without visa for 2 weeks. Uh, before that was a issue that we're not so open about their visit, and I guess we've taken also uh, the lessons from our ASEAN neighbors, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. They all opened up to attract Chinese visitors. And that's one thing I can see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. When I say low-hanging fruits, this is a sector that does not require really, like extensive training, you know, and Filipinos are very warm, and for those who have visited our country, they know. I guess they coined the word. It's more fun in the Philippines, and I hope that can be revived. We are one of the country that unfortunately has quite a small number of tourists visiting compared to the other ASEAN countries. But then, as I said, the government is responding positively, and that definitely will have an impact. I have voiced out quite often that we still have to be competitive. We're still quite, for tourists, they find the Philippines quite costly. Okay, there's a study about people going to Surigao, and it costs them more to travel there than to travel to Thailand. So we have to be competitive also. Not that we have beautiful shores, we have nice sceneries, we have friendly people, but you still have to be competitive. Okay?
What
Same
ab-
thing, yeah.
Yeah, governance. I mean, where in the totem pole is governance and corruption when it comes to foreign investors
They
making a
realize
bet,
that
a
it's
real
still
bet?
there. They know it's there. They know it's something that they have to deal with. And well, basically, like for us in the chamber and also other business organizations, we're here to help.
So, how do you intend to help then that we're
Uh,
chairing the ASEAN and corruption and governance concerns are atop their minds, still atop their minds after 5 months? What will we tell them? How ready are we to offer them what we have?
well, the great reforms as we discussed about earlier. Okay? And I would like to think that if investors are coming in, when they come in as a mission, with delegations, I will definitely would definitely arrange for them to meet with the higher ups to hear for themselves. Okay, that this has not only been taken up, but you're meeting people who are at the helm of to make things happen. And we have, I'm sure, after the ASEAN, throughout the whole year, when they come and visit, they can see that we are really serious about resolving some of the internal issues. But what even more is that we are all out to attract investors. The economy per se, in the world's economy, has been unsettled, because of the tariff issue, the reciprocal tariff with the U.S. Okay, that was very unsettling. Everybody was, you know, speculating uh, what sort of taxes would be imposed on the countries. But as of late, we can see that this is settled. Okay, and people realize that we have one of the more reasonable reciprocal tariff. We're 19% compared to the other countries that are 25, 30, 40. So that gives them a competitive advantage. If they were to invest in the Philippines, it's for export, it's only at that rate. We're glad to say that through the effort of DTI, electronics, wire harness, and many items are exempted. They're still based on 0%. So our export numbers has gone up recently. And the report that came out was that our trade deficit has gone down. So I hope this continue for the rest of the year. And even now, one issue that I read in the paper about the FTAs between U.S. and Europe, because what transpired, there seems to be talks about more higher tariff for the European. And again, if that were to happen, it's a plus for the Philippines because we have lower reciprocal tariff. So
What sense are you getting from government that they're ready to engage ASEAN as they continue to get mired in the flood control probe and that they remain probably distracted by things going on with the investigations and all that?
with the ASEAN, uh, there are certain sectors that we have common interests. Like one area is the halal food. Okay, um, of course, the major players in the halal food is Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. But Indonesia imports a lot of halal food from Thailand, and this is one sector that we want, more engagement. And the first trip of President BBM to Malaysia, uh, I was part of the delegations, and through our contacts with the halal organizations, we set up a breakout sessions. And Secretary Chris Roque at that time was still undersecretary, so I was with her, and these are people that I know through our chamber collaborations, and we had a good beginning. And after the halal, the breakout session in Malaysia, we followed it up last year when we had the event on the BIM IAGA, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, the East ASEAN Growth
Growth
Corridor. Okay? And we invited people of those who are interested in halal. I think that would be something for the country to invest in the food security and also the agricultural sector. We have actually our halal export is quite minimum. Okay, while the other ASEAN countries, like Thailand, for example, not being a Muslim country, surprising, they export about $40 billion of halal food. Not to mention, of course, Malaysia. So those are markets that I think they're interested in tapping because we've opened up our agri sector in the sense that the country now allows long-term lease of 99 years. Okay? And the infrastructure that's ongoing, as of late, the last General Appropriation Act, the Department of Agriculture has one of the highest increase in their budget. That is through the effort of Secretary Kiko Tiu Laurel. And we're happy for that. Farm to market roads, and the all the post harvest warehousing. So these are all positive news.
So
For
outcomes, in terms of outcomes, you see one coming through in food, agriculture,
food,
any other
agriculture,
sectors?
the other all the industry wherein power is a key issue. Okay, will not be given much attention. Okay, uh, as I said, power is one. There's investment. Even Thailand has investment here in power. Food related feeds, for example, because the market here is quite big, and on the average, we still import quite a lot of food related items. We still rely a lot of importation. So that would be a key. I mean, that is what we're telling investors. Look at the agricultural sectors. We import tomato, we import onion. You do your grocery works, right? You know that many of these are imported, and which should have been produced locally. On the side of electronics, um, the trend has been on the upside. Okay? The people making or assembling electronics are still doing well. And you interviewed our new president PCI, Perry Ferrer.
Ferrer.
He's not in that business, assembling. He's doing quite well. And we have the market also in East Europe is growing. Uh, I mentioned about agriculture. Hungary has been quite interested in our fruits export. I was there in Hungary with Mr. Ferrer, and I can see the interest. Aside from that, even the skilled labor. Not that we want to export more of our Filipinos there, but if they can find a job to be gainfully employed, it's a help to our economy. I mean, from the remittances.
So, as a final point, as you mentioned at the start of this conversation, it's prosperity for all.
Yes.
Will it mean net jobs at the end of this chairship of the ASEAN of the Philippines?
It may not be immediate, but definitely, if they can see that effort of private sector and government, they're helping each other. We're all in the same boat, and the present conditions politically is stable for them to really seriously look into the Philippines. Okay? And it is also when you have an event like this, and if we manage it well, and they get to see at least this point, they're not just seeing Metro Manila; they're seeing different provinces, and they can see for themselves. If you go to Cebu, it's quite developed, right? If you go to even Boracay, would be quite a scene. So through all of this effort, this is really to make our Philippines be looked at as a country worth considering for the investments.
All right. Well, tough road ahead for you and ABAC.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sure
you
you'll
very
see
much,
all the
Cathy.
good beaches here.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much,
Thank
George.
you.
Well, joining us in the second part is ABAC Chairman Joey Concepcion, also the founder of Go Negosyo. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, with us now on Thought Leaders, ABAC Chairman Joey Concepcion, also the founder of Go Negosyo. It's good to see you again, Joey.
To see you
Welcome
too.
to the program. So I've had George just a few moments ago there talking about our ASEAN chairship. I know you've both done 2017. I did as well, covered it as a media person. How is it going to be different this round, given that we have governance issues atop everybody's heads? And anyone else coming here would want to ask about it first before they even want to do business with us.
Well, 2017 was different. President Duterte was the main person at that time. A lot of people came here because they wanted to see President Duterte. That's why the ASEAN during his time was very successful. And Donald Trump attended the ASEAN at that point. So today, there is positive information that President Trump will attend the ASEAN here in the Philippines. Uh, Although we're not 100% sure, but I'm very optimistic that he will attend because the Philippines love Americans. So
Is that going to be a positive or a negative? Because every time he attends some kind of meeting, he kind of hijacks the whole narrative.
that's the Trump signature. And I think people like it. I mean, he is definitely a star. He makes comments sometimes that are from nowhere. But Filipinos love entertainment, and he is one of the presidents who know how to play the entertainment sector. What is we are anticipating is that normally when we host the ASEAN similar to 2017, many of the Filipinos do not participate. And why? Because many of them are at the bottom of the pyramid. So basically, most of them are uh, micro and small entrepreneurs. Some are, students don't understand the population, the people that we have don't understand. So even at this point in time, we're already campaigning on what ASEAN is all about. What will the Philippines benefit from it? And basically, what the message we're delivering is that we cannot compete against the giants like US, Europe, because we are fragmented. And that's why ASEAN brings together 10, 11 countries to work together and form one strong economic bloc. And there you have leverage.
But people, the public, they know governance issues.
Yes,
and they'd
yes.
want to hear about this. How are you going to tie that narrative in and the explanations that they're needing to appease them and also make them interested in the relevance of ASEAN?
And that's why even as we host the ASEAN for the next the ASEAN would end about end of somewhere in the first week of November. What's important is we make it inclusive. And that is why we are mounting Trabajo at Negosyo simultaneously in all the SM malls, which has been committed by Tessie. In fact, that is the project of the First Lady and our President Marcos, no? Job generation. So this, as we host the ASEAN, we will have conferences, meetings. For the next 5 months, it's going to be just basically ABAC members meeting, no, in the Philippines. But when we move towards the later part of the year, that becomes now larger meetings, and the culmination of that is the ABIS. Now, during that whole time,
The ASEAN Business Investment
yes,
Summit.
that's the finale of the whole
Because
event.
this is where rubber hits the road, where jobs
Y-
can be
yes.
created from the
Yeah,
communiques that come
but
out.
we're not going to wait for that. We are
Mm.
going to do it now.
How?
Because Go Negosyo is going to mount it in a massive way. We will suspend all our summits that we have been doing. We will suspend the 3MOW, and we will focus on Trabajo at Negosyo. And why so? Because we want the people to go to the malls, and those who need, we did already a job fair in SM Mall of Asia together with the president. And aside from that, we had also a negosyo center composed of about 50 mentors and access to money and all of that. So if and then we will have an LED in the mall which will beam what is happening in ASEAN. So as they can see what's happening because they'll not be able to enter because they're when you enter the ABIS you will have to pay and the amount is huge. So that is basically for those who can afford. No? But we want to make it inclusive, so we will share that what is happening in the different meetings on LED in the mall, and there will be trabaho at negosyo activity that's happening.
Do you think that's going to turn the tide of consumer sentiment? I mean, it's become tepid, it's become weaker because of what they've been hearing about the flood control scam and the investigations that have so far gone nowhere. How then do you encourage them when there's something of a bigger problem at the back of their heads that still has to be resolved but has not been?
Those are problems that they can't solve, basically. Our people can solve those problems. It's the government that will solve the problem. But then we should not dwell on the problem because what we want to show is that the Philippines is more positive about its future. Yes, there are mistakes done by some people in Congress. You can see in the newspaper that seems to be the headlines every day. But we have to go through that. Unfortunately, that happened, and hopefully, the ASEAN hosting of the Philippines will give us that chance to explain to the world that we're open for business. And what happened will be a thing of the past, and we should not ever repeat what happened.
All right, so if a foreign investor comes to you and asks, what have you done about your governance issues? What will you tell them?
Well, all of these governance issues are already laid down. But the problem is there are loopholes to all of this, right? And what happened in Congress was a massive loophole. So I think many of our congressmen are aware and they know that what happened affects their stature. I mean, congressmen are well respected and even our senators, but there can be a few that can really create so much damage. No? And our president, Marcos, is on top of this. The private sector is, you know, concerned, obviously, about what happened, but we have to move forward. And that's why it's the golden opportunity that we have. The next time we will host will be 10 years from today. So I'll be too old to host already. So even our president will not be there. So there will be a big change. So what we're doing in the private sector is our partnership with government. We have to make this very successful.
Are you getting any indications that the partnership is strong, given that they're fully distracted about the investigations and the flood control scam?
We still have a very good image, you know, because of our overseas workers. The overseas workers have left a trademark on their ability to serve other people who are not Filipinos, and that's a remarkable thing. And what we want to do is, of course, if we generate more employment and more, and our sari-sari stores or small business grow, then there is more economic activity. There is a chance for them to achieve prosperity. And so we want the Philippines to be an inclusive country. That's important. It's not just for us in big business. Yes, we're fortunate to be where we are, but unless we bring up the level of wealth to these people, the country will never succeed.
So, how do you bring up the level of wealth in a country where the economy is slowing and
Uh,
expected to slow further with the catch up that the government has to do in at least, say, the next 2 quarters to fix up the mess?
well, it's economic activity that must happen. So we have to upskill our people who are looking for jobs, jobs that may have, but they don't get good pay because they don't have the skill to get a better pay and a better job. So we have to remain optimistic. I mean, I am running RFM for the past 50 years. We had our ups and downs. We almost went bankrupt once upon a time, but we persisted. We focused on our vision, and today we're one of the top companies. It's similar in helping our micro and small entrepreneurs. They are more disadvantaged than us in business because we have access to all of this. So we are providing now them the access to be able to reach the level that we are, and we see a lot of success in a lot of these micro, small, and medium enterprises, but they're not going to just jump up because they don't have the resources that we do. And that if we want big business to grow or this whole country to grow, there is no other solution but we must provide jobs to our people, and we have to help them become not micro and small forever, but be able to attain medium, and those few that become large will definitely pay back. So when entrepreneurs succeed, they will pay back by helping other people. I call that the circle of success.
Are you finding that there are more who want to be entrepreneurs at a time when the economy is slowing? Or are you seeing them pull back and just wait?
There are many survival entrepreneurs, specifically sari-sari stores. They put up a store because they don't have the skill to get a job. So we really have to upskill them. So you can see this. These are millions. I mean, companies like us in the consumer business, ice cream, etc., food. The demand, our biggest customer is not the supermarket. It's the sari-sari stores. And this is what we have to sustain. Imagine we can make the sari-sari store come up with mini groceries. That means they're moving up in life. And that is the goal of the private sector, that unless we make the Philippines more inclusive, we will forever be the way we are.
Do you think the foreign investors would have the patience to wait for us to catch up after the flood control scam, fixing the governance issues, given that there are competitors out there in the ASEAN that might
That's true.
provide better demographic or maybe equally younger demographic, like say Indonesia?
Well, these countries like Malaysia, of course, Singapore, uh, those that are coming up are like even Myanmar is doing okay. Laos, these are countries that are at the bottom that are coming up. The Philippines is not that bad. We're somewhere there. Now we have to sustain that and give. I mean, we all have to think that the Philippines will be a great nation. Yes, there are headwinds. We started when I started and took over my father's role as CEO. The first thing I bought are companies like Cosmos Bottling, Selecta. Selecta was barely 1% of the market share in ice cream. So I shouldn't fight Magnolia. They're too big. But I did, and we won, and we're the largest ice cream company. In the same manner with soft drinks, Coca-Cola is the largest. We launched Pop Cola, and we were able to beat them so that I sold it for a price that was so big that, it was a jackpot. But what I'm trying to get at here is that even if we're small and maybe underskilled, there is always a room to succeed. It is in the attitude of every Filipino that you have to be an optimist and not a pessimist. If you are a pessimist, you will never, never make it. So I always look at, we have problems, but look at the good side. And if you look at the good side, then you can really accelerate your growth. So when people always tell me, oh, mahirap yan, ganyan, tell them, look, you're working for us, you have to do your best. And today, we've hit record income, our sales are up and all of that. So if Filipinos can think more positive, then we will have a brighter nation. But when people see in the newspaper, okay, this Congress, what they did, okay, but it had happened. They will pay the price of what they did. But
We're
we have
paying the price. That's what the people are saying. So they took it to the streets, and they're still wanting a resolution to that they couldn't get. Give us a silver lining to it then if you're an optimist and you're asking entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs to be optimists in a scenario where it seems so pessimistic. Where can we find the silver lining?
Well, I think it's in everybody's. I mean, it's in a case like in yourself. I mean, being the news, and sometimes the news is all bad. How do you turn that thing around, no? And say more good news. In the same manner, as an entrepreneur, ne- nothing is a perfect, thing. There will always be challenges. And like the Philippines, we've gone through a lot of challenges over time, but we're still around. We're growing. Yes, there are areas that we have to fix. A more transparent government in the case of Congress. Hopefully, that thing doesn't happen again. That people take things seriously, and if we all focus on wanting to build a better Philippines, there is no other way than all of us really working towards that direction. Of course, not everybody will follow it. There'll be people who really want to go on their own. What can we do? So us who are well invested and we have a lot in stake in this country, there is no other way but for us to really work hard. I mean, you can just sit in your desk and just wait for things to happen. So the private sector still is, to me, the biggest engine of growth for this country. The government's role is to make sure that the private sector can speed up its growth. And if we do that, then the Filipino people will benefit from this, especially now that digitalization is all over, online, everything. Access to the market is easier. You can now sell your products through Facebook and all of this. No? So there are other access to the market. So to me, the three most important M's is mentorship, money, and market.
And if I could add metrics, as a finance journalist, one would look to data to prove a truth. What to you would be a metric of success? Looking at us as an ASEAN chair, and also at a time when everything is so pessimistic out there, given that a resolution still has to be found in the flood control scam.
Well, it's fortunate that we are now hosting the ASEAN. It comes at a time when something big happened to the Philippines that should have never happened. So it now is the time that when we host the ASEAN, we will have now the time to explain to the rest of the ASEAN nations what happened. And they will know that there's still a lot of people here that are very honest, hardworking. There are other people who have different, intentions. But we should set that aside and focus on our goal of creating what I call a prosperous nation, and not exclusive to just us in big business. It must be an inclusive business model that will help those at the bottom of the pyramid. Because if those people at the bottom of the pyramid don't go up, this country will not grow. Impossible. Because we have a larger population at the bottom of the pyramid. So the goal of the private sector, if you want economic growth, you have to help these people at the bottom move up. We have to get the small and micro entrepreneurs to move up, to scale up. And that is what Go Negosyo has been doing for the last 20 years.
And how does that relate then to the ASEAN? If you look at creating that inclusivity, how do you then magnify that in a regional space?
Well, at the regional space, I mean, first in the Philippines, because that is where our real problem is. At the ASEAN level, there are countries like Singapore, Brunei, Malaysia, Thailand, that are doing well because of basically their country's business model. No? So each one may have a strength in tourism, etc., etc. So here we have more or less defined it. The issue really here is that there are sometimes elements that really drag people the wrong way. In the recent problem that we had, no. So, but it doesn't matter because in business we also have big problems, no. When labor issues that come now and then, challenges of foreign products coming here, but as an entrepreneur, that's part of what we do, and there's no reason for us to lose confidence. The moment you lose confidence in yourself, then you will lose everything. So I believe that Yes, the Philippines has gone through so many problems to the many years, but today we're still around. What we have to do is continue to pound on making this country more inclusive, and that is our role in the private sector. Nobody else can do it but us.
How then do you leverage that to the foreign investors or prospective ones who want to come in and check out the Philippines and see whether it's a really good place to do business?
We will bring them around so they will be able to relax and see how beautiful our beaches just within an hour away. So tourism is an opportunity for us. And many people who will be in that sector will definitely grow because we have the best beaches in the world. There is no other. Maybe Bali would compare, but not white sands. There's they don't have white sands like here in the Philippines. So we have to push tourism. We have to also help, especially upskill our people. So the opportunities. The Philippines is a wonderful country. I mean, Filipinos, when they see a foreigner, it's like God to them. So they enjoy the foreigners from coming in. So tourism is a key factor in economic growth for this country.
So it sounds like it's going to be a little bit more chill. Is that the refrain I'm getting from George is that you're visiting more beaches, maybe even playing golf
Yes,
with the delegates. This is something different. This isn't something that you've done in 2017.
that's right. So we will be when we get to Nasugbu, Batangas. That's where the venue of Punto Fuego is. They will be playing golf. They will be We'll bring them to the beaches in that area, San Telmo, which is partly owned by SM. Tessie has opened her hotel and restaurants to us. So we want them to see that coming to the Philippines and doing work with ASEAN is also going to be fun, and that's the whole idea. We really want to, as they come, we want them. So they're one of the first meetings will be there, and then Boracay, Bohol, Cebu, Baguio. So all the meetings will be out of Metro Manila because we want them to see what we have in the Philippines.
Are we ready? I mean, just digital connectivity, a non-starter. Have you assured or gotten the assurance that there will be full connectivity in any of these places?
Yes, and they do. These places already are. I mean, a lot of people have put fiber optics all over, so there'll be connectivity. I think the biggest asset in our country is the nature, the beaches, the mountains that we have. Baguio is one, and many of these people love to play golf. So that's one friendly match that they would. So it's not all about meetings; it's about building relationship. In ASEAN, yes, we can talk about trade and all of that, but I've been in ASEAN for so many years. We have become
How many
really
years?
good. Now maybe the first one was Duterte, and now BBM. So that's quite a long time. So you develop that friendship, and from that friendship builds trust. So when there's trust, then business partnerships can prosper, and that's the intention. Because yes, you have the council members, but all of these countries will bring their business, their entrepreneurs to the Philippines.
And at the end of the day, we're hoping that this will generate jobs.
Definitely.
Would you have any metrics to say that this was a successful ASEAN at the end of the year? What would be those metrics?
Well, first of all, the number one metric is that we're scored the number of leaders that will come in. So if Trump, Modi, Xi Jinping, all the leaders from ASEAN and the other what we call dialogue partners come 100%, then you get a 100% score. It's very hard to do that, especially to bring Trump in. And I hope he comes because, all the ambassadors, the US ambassadors, have been telling him to come. And Filipinos love Americans. I don't know why. So we just love America. Well, America's a nice place, but of course, I guess we've been oriented since we've been colonized by many people, no? So, but yes, I'm very optimistic that this ASEAN hosting comes at the right time.
But what about communiques turning into actual jobs? Do you have like a number that you'd want to hope to achieve maybe in reference to maybe 2017 because that was the biggest yet.
Yes. So uh, we will determine it by the number of people who will attend trabajo at negosyo. We are going to ask maybe about 50 companies in the Philippines to be part of it. That are a lot of call centers and all of this will want to be in part of that. So as we run the ASEAN program, the whole conference here and the summit, we have to have something for the people to be part of. And they will not be able to enter Okada, which is going to be very expensive to pay to enter because there's a lot of logistics involved. So the cost to really mount this is really high. So we intend to get hopefully back some of what we put in from these delegates who are coming from Europe, from Asia, and from, of course, all over. So I hope during Duterte's time, we did a good job at that time. Of course, Duterte was different. Was even late for some of the meetings that were there. No? But everybody at that time, he was so popular all over the world, no? Being who he was. No? So we got tremendous attendance during his time. Now, under President Marcos, everybody's happy with his leadership. The First Lady is a great anchor to the President, very supportive. She has her Love for All project. She supports all the activities that we do because when Love for All mounts all of this, they help the poor with medicine and all of that, and doctors' advice. We also mount it with job generation, of course, and entrepreneurship. So simultaneously, it's like a caravan of Go Negosyo and the First Lady providing mentorship, and basically she's providing help for medical.
As a final point, as you mentioned the poor and wanting to be inclusive, what would you want the ASEAN 2026 to be remembered by the poor in this country and the youth?
Yes, so we hopefully when we mount Trabajo at Negosyo, it will show that we will even have ASEAN delegates to mentor. Of course, most of them can speak English, but we will get them to experience because we want them to do the same thing in their respective countries. So that is the only way when we get some big business mentoring small business. Of course, you get starstruck, you know. Let's say Tessie is mentoring somebody down there, that person will be furtherly motivated. So it's very hard to say how this thing will play, but we have to always think of the positive. And I believe that, and I've been spending so much of my time focused on really making this successful together with George and Michael Tan, and of course, the First Lady. We have to support this administration. If we don't make this successful and all things turn for the worst, then the Philippines we're like live on TV for the next so many months. No, everything will be televised all over the world. So we have to put our best foot forward. This is our golden moment to show that the Philippines is open for business.
Indeed, exciting times for you. And as George said, it is pretty challenging and also exciting.
Thank
All
you.
the best. You're not alone.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yes.
We'll catch up as ASEAN rolls in.
Okay.
Catch us
Thanks.
again next Thursday on One News. You can also check out the long conversation on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And if you haven't done so, like or follow my social media pages. I'm Cathy Yang. This is Thought Leaders.